Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, but there is no sunrise, the sky is dark, the sun has disappeared, and in its place sits a black hole. What would happen to Earth? Would we instantly be swallowed? Would the entire solar system be destroyed? Or would something even stranger happen? Surprisingly, the answer is not what most people expect. First, let's imagine that the sun suddenly becomes a black hole with exactly the same mass. At first, Earth would continue orbiting normally. That sounds impossible, but it's true. Gravity depends on mass. If the black hole had the same mass as the sun, Earth's orbit would remain almost unchanged. The planet would not suddenly fly away, and it would not immediately fall into the black hole. But that doesn't mean we would survive. The real problem is light. The sun provides nearly all the energy that supports life on Earth. Without sunlight, our world would enter darkness. Within days, temperatures would begin to drop. Plants would stop producing energy through photosynthesis. Food chains would start collapsing. Solar power would become useless. The sky would become darker than anything humanity has ever experienced. After 1 week, average temperatures would continue falling rapidly. After a few months, most surface plants would die. Animals that depend on those plants would soon follow. Entire ecosystems would begin to collapse. The oceans would slowly start freezing from the surface. At first, only thin layers of ice would form, but as time passed, the frozen layers would become thicker and thicker. Cities around the world would struggle to survive. Energy demand would explode. Governments would desperately search for ways to keep people warm. Some underground facilities might remain habitable. Geothermal energy could provide limited heat, but life on the surface would become increasingly difficult. Years later, Earth would resemble a frozen wasteland. Most of the oceans would be covered by enormous sheets of ice. Temperatures could drop below minus 100 degrees Celsius. The world would become almost unrecognizable, yet some forms of life might survive. Deep beneath the oceans, near hydrothermal vents, certain organisms could continue living. These ecosystems already exist today without depending directly on sunlight. They survive using heat and chemicals released from Earth's interior, but for humanity, survival would be an incredible challenge. Now let's discuss another terrifying possibility. What if Earth moved too close to the black hole? Then everything changes. The immense gravitational forces would begin stretching objects. Scientists call this process spaghettification. As an object approaches a black hole, gravity pulls harder on one side than the other. Eventually, matter is stretched into long, thin streams. It is one of the most extreme effects predicted by physics. Fortunately, if the black hole replaced the sun without changing mass, Earth would remain at a safe distance. The greatest threat would not be gravity, it would be the loss of sunlight, the disappearance of the star that makes life possible. The sun feels ordinary because we see it every day, but it is the engine that powers our world. Without it, Earth would quickly transform into a frozen, dark, and hostile planet. The next time you see a sunrise, remember something incredible. That giant ball of burning plasma is the reason oceans remain liquid, the reason plants grow, the reason animals survive, and the reason humanity exists at all. Without the sun, our planet would become a silent world drifting through eternal darkness.